Well, boys and girls, it's officially over. 2024 is in the books, and so is the Bengals season. It was a hell of a run at the end of the season. Had some exciting games. One against Denver, and this last one against Pittsburgh was really good, going really well. They ended the season on a high note. I know they didn't get to the playoffs, but it was close. The fact that we even got a chance to get there when we were 4-8, I mean, we were dead in the water to most people, including myself. But Joe Burrow gave us a chance, and the cards just weren't in our favor. So, congrats to the Broncos for getting in there. I think they got a bright future with Bo Nix. And honestly, I could see Nix and Burrow actually being a rival, assuming Burrow stays in Cincinnati, which we'll talk about in a second. But anyway, so what do I think we need to do this offseason? Well, first of all, I am not giving Zac Taylor a pass. Not a frickin' chance in hell. I told you guys that the other video. I think Zac Taylor is the reason we're in this position to begin with. Yes, the defense sucks, but Zac Taylor and his coaching decisions this year were just freaking horrible. I mean, horrible. I mean, let's take a look at some of the games. Losing to the Patriots, I don't know what the heck, that was embarrassing. That should have never happened. That was flat out. But that was Zac not having his team prepared to play again. So, and he's started the season, 6 years or 5 years, 0-2. That should tell you everything you need to know. He just doesn't get his team prepared to play. Now, none of this is on Joe Burrow. None at all. The guy plays his ass off. Of course, and it's not just Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase, Trey Hendricks, T. Higgins. A lot of them guys, we have talent. There's no doubt about it. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The only reason Joe Burrow is not up there with Patrick Mahomes or being talked about as one of the greats is because he plays for, unfortunately, he plays for a mediocre ownership and a mediocre organization, and he has no freaking defense. Now, that being said, yeah, it just is. I mean, you got to understand. I've said this before, and I swear by it, and I'll say it again. If you put Joe Burrow on a team like Philadelphia or Kansas City, he's just as good as Patrick Mahomes, if not better. You can call me crazy all you want, but no. We've seen what Joe Burrow can do with a shitty ownership, a shitty defense, and a shitty offensive line. Can you imagine what he could do on a team like Philadelphia or Kansas City? Please. It's, So getting back to the games. Yeah, the Patriots lost. That was embarrassing. No excuse for that. Kansas City, we were up 25-16 in the fourth quarter, but Zac Taylor, what did he do? He shit the bed. That's his loss. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, the defense had breakdowns and they suck, but you guys don't understand. Zac Taylor is the head coach, okay? It's his job to coach to his team's strengths. And Zac, for some reason, just in the last couple years, I'm sorry, I have not been impressed. I've not been impressed. Listen, Zac, you showed up at the right time. We wanted anybody but Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis, we wanted anybody but him. We would have took probably the worst coach ever. Because we were so fed up with Marvin Lewis, we wanted something different. And honestly, call me crazy, but I'd take Marvin Lewis back right now over Zac Taylor. I really would. Because you got to think what Marvin Lewis had through his career. John Kitna, Carson Palmer, great in his prime, but he got injured. We should have got rid of him then. As soon as he got his knee hurt against that Pittsburgh Steelers playoff game back in 2005, he was never right since. Then Andy Dalton. I mean, if Marvin Lewis had the team he's got right now, that Zac Taylor has, he would win at least one Super Bowl, if not more. I really believe that. Zac Taylor, now, so we lose against Kansas City, which we should have won because we were better than them that particular game. We should have beat them. But, again, Zac, being Zac, the douchebag, got in his own way again and cost us that game. The game against the Ravens, let's talk about both games. I think Raven fans are going to disagree with me, but we should have beat the Ravens both times. I mean, really, we should have. At the very least, we should have beat them one time. But for some reason, when Lamar Jackson fumbles the ball and basically gives us the game, Zac Taylor got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And for some reason, he decides to freaking run the ball 3 straight times because he's a fucking idiot. And that ultimately gave the ball back to Baltimore, and it cost us the game. But that's another game we should have won. There's your 2 wins right there, Kansas City and Baltimore. If that alone would have got us into the playoffs, we'd be in the playoffs right now. There is no reason Joe Burrow should not be in the playoffs right now. No reason. Except for the fact that Zac Taylor don't know how to coach, and we have a shitty-ass ownership and a terrible defense. I know I said a lot there, but you know what I mean. When Joe Burrow is clicking, man, you've seen it. He's dangerous. And the problem is, he's working against a barrier. He's working against Mike Brown in the system. That's the problem. So, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. I hope the Broncos, I'm not even salty about not making it. Honestly, we had no business making it because let's be honest about it. If miraculously we happen to make it, do you really think we were going to go anywhere with that defense anyway? No. Come on. Let's call a spade a spade. Hey, man, I'm a diehard Bengals fan. I freaking bleed orange and black, man. I love the team. But I also am a realist. And with that defense, like I said, they couldn't stop a freaking parked car. I mean, what makes you think they're going to stop a team like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen that can easily put up 30, 40 points any given Sunday? So, that being said, no. But I am not excusing Zac Taylor. I know I didn't really go into real depth about this, but no. I still think, Zac ain't going to go anywhere. We already know that because this last 5-game winning streak, look what Zac did. Saved his job. Saved his job. We shouldn't even been in this position to begin with. We shouldn't. I already listed it. There is at least 2 or 3 or 4 games. Like I said, we should have beat the Ravens twice. And the second time we played the Ravens, by the way, I actually agreed with Zac Taylor to go for that 2 points and win the game because we already knew what was going to happen. If you go and tie the game, Zac had some common sense there to say, well, Lamar Jackson's just going to go down that shitty defense and win the game anyway. So that I actually agreed with. It just didn't work in our favor. It happens sometimes and sometimes it don't. This time it didn't. So I actually agreed with that when he went for 2. I really did. But, so we should have beat the Ravens, if not twice, but at least once. Should have beat them at least once. And we should have beat the Chiefs. And the Commanders, the Redskins, come on. Change them back to the fucking Redskins. They're the Washington Redskins. I don't care what you freaking liberals say. No one gives a shit. You're out of the office anyway. And a real president's getting in there. But anyway, no, the Washington Redskins, they flat out outplayed us. We deserve to lose that game. But, I know I'm getting winded here, but that's what happens when you're overweight. Hey, I'm doing better, though. Ever since I started this FedEx job, I'm actually down 30 pounds. Believe it or not. Moving around all day, it may not seem like you're doing anything. Switching to diet soda, man, and instead of eating greasy shit, basically working out all day, I'm gaining muscle, and I'm also losing weight, which is good. So, and I know the haters say, no, you're not. Oh, whatever. But yes, a disappointing season despite the 5-game winning streak at the end, but we should be in the playoffs. There's no, like I said, there is no reason Joe Burrow should not be in there right now. If Joe Burrow, hey, listen, you can ask Patrick Mahomes. If Joe Burrow was going into the playoffs right now, a lot of teams would be scared the way he's playing. He is finally clicking on all cylinders. And it's just a shame, like I said, we got a shit coach and a shit owner, even worse owner. So, need a defense, need offensive line, same shit. And if they don't do that, we're just going to have a repeat of this year. Honestly, What did it for me for Zac Taylor is against the Ravens when he decided to run the ball 3 straight times and take it out of the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That told me everything I need to know about Zac Taylor. He's a shit coach. I'm sorry. And as far as I'm concerned, tomorrow he should lose his job. But he won't, but he should. So, hope you guys have a good night. It's going to start a new work week. It's colder than shit here. But it's all good. I'm still going to watch the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs are still the playoffs. It's good. The NBA, Chicago Bulls suck. But halfway knew that was coming. But, hey, I can play it on NBA 2K, right? They're good in my head on that game. So, anyway. All right, guys. Have a good night.